Welcome. You are listening to Bras, Panties and Sports. The Super Bowl is done. The NBA All-Star game is over. March Madness approaches. Woody woo. I'm Spitface. Please welcome our host, the First Lady of Sports Talk, Cheryl Smith.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, March Madness is upon us.
All right, get your brackets ready. You know, First Lady, I have never been any kind of way successful at bracketology. You know, I am bracketology. How to deprive. I just get, I just look at them and I just go, hey, look, whoever, I wait till the Final Four. Then that's when I chirp in. Look, okay, all right, y'all down to these 4 teams. Then I can look at that. But otherwise, 64. How many teams they got in there? 64?
64.
64. That's a lot of teams. That's a lot of teams. But, they get chopped in half because, 32 and then, they get chopped in half pretty quick. But to be figuring out some brackets, I need that, what's that IBM computer they got? What's his name, Henry or something? I got to get one of them bad boys, All right, check out the music this week on Shout Out. We are featuring performances from Sonic Minds. Where they find their shining star, get the cold feel of the mute button. First Lady, we're ready. What you say?
Each week we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world, not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdies known as Duke wish they could fly far away from a 13-point home loss to UNC in Coach K's final regular season game. 5 national championships and the winningest coach in NCAA Division I. 100 former players, many past and present, NBA players were there and stood for the entire game. Wow. Does Coach K represent the end of an era for college basketball? Or is it more about his individual accomplishments? Will March Madness be the same without Coach K? Speaking of March Madness, will Duke be in the Final Four? Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., and the Steve Miller Band are asking what you say. And I forgot to say Marvelous Marvin Hagler, rest in peace. All right. Well, you know what, Spitface? It was sad that they lost that game and really lost the game to a struggling North Carolina team. North Carolina team has really not been playing real well at all. And being that the Dukas that was seeded number 4, you would think that they would have won the game. But you know what? I think with all the excitement, all of the celebrations, it was the emotional stress for the players, and I really think that's what happened to them. I think they just got caught up in all of the activities, and unfortunately they lost the game. But that's a bad way to go out. Matter of fact, when Coach K came back out to talk to the audience, he had to apologize for the loss. He said it was unacceptable. Yeah, it was unacceptable because they weren't even ranked and they weren't even good. Unfortunately, Hubert Davis is struggling, with this program this year, but not too sure to say it's all Hubert Davis' fault. I think they just weren't a good team. But anyway, needless to say, when it comes to whether or not this is the end of an era of college basketball or was more about Coach K's accomplishments, I really think it's a combination of both because when you think of an era in college basketball, you think of like something that's big. When John Wooden retired, that was the end of the era because you would not have another coach like John Wooden, yet we did because you had Dean Smith at North Carolina. Then now you have Coach K. Now, Coach K obviously is the most successful college coach ever. And I know within the T's we said Division I, but actually he is the best coach ever in NCAA basketball, period, whether it's Division 1, 2, or 3. He has the highest wins, and it's 1,196 wins. And, but he doesn't have the highest winning percentage. Prior to the game, his winning percentage was .766, where Dean Smith and Roy Williams have better percentages. Now, the question is, March Madness will it not be the same without Coach K? It won't be the same, but it's always going to be successful because it's bigger than just one person. March Madness is an institution, so I can't say it's not going to be the same. It will always be the same. He'll be missed, but the games will go on without Coach K. I know. That's just the way it's going to be. So, March Madness is upon us, and, it's still one of the most exciting tournaments in any sports whatsoever, because it's, you got one chance to win a game. So when you think about it, one chance, everybody's on an equal playing ground, because in one given game, anybody could win and anybody could lose. That's why we have all those upsets. A lot of people are saying they don't like the format, but how else are you going to do the format for college basketball? Sometimes I wish the NBA would take on that format. They kind of did it when they implemented the play-in tournament a little bit, so that has a little flair of NCAA sports, but it's nothing more exciting than March Madness. Now, does Duke have a chance to win? Of course. They were ranked in the top 5. They're a top 5 team. It's good that Coach K has a top 5 ranking team in his final season. So any team that's, to me, ranked in the top 5 has a chance of going to the Final Four. And Final Four is all about seeding. It's all about who you playing, where you playing. So, that all factors in to who gets to the Final Four. So, but, it is end of the era. It was very, Coach K leaving. He had talked about leaving before. I don't know if you remember Spitface. He had some health injuries, health scares there. You know, he would faint. I forgot what his condition, what he was going through, but it seemed like he had gotten past that. And you know, this man has coached a lot of the NBA players, you know, because he also coached the national team that would go to the Olympics. You know, a lot of people used to say he had an unfair advantage because people were, you know, with his recruiting and everything, because of the fact that he coached the Olympics. And I don't know why that had anything to do with it. But, you know, Coach K is definitely going to go down as probably the greatest coach of all time. You know, I still think of John Wooden, and I was very young when John Wooden and I forgot his name. Walton was, you know, the big, you know, Walton played for John Wooden, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played for John Wooden, but, you know, and then you had Dean Smith. How can you forget Dean Smith? There's just been some great coaches, but Coach K definitely will be missed, and life goes on without him, and he's going to, you know, be interested to see what he will be doing in his retirement life. You know, do I see him moving to television and being a commentary? I don't know. The commentary, I don't know if he'll do that. You know, we'll see what happens with Coach K. All right, Spitface, what you talking about?
You know, it is kind of it is embarrassing that the final home game for your coach, because I'm talking about the team now, you lose. Now you know that hurt. That's stung. Because if there's ever a time that you want to win a game for your coach, that's probably one of the that's in the top 2-3. You know, the coach is going out. It's the final home game where we, you know, not just do we want to win, we, you know, hey, we don't want him to be the one he lost. You know, but now they got that on them, and you know, as you were saying, First Lady, the tournament has not started officially, but the tournament has started because it's do or die for several teams. They need wins, and Duke could have used that win, but UNC needed the win. They needed it. And as you said, it looks like Duke may have got all caught up in the hype. But then again, like I said, you got one team that hey, we got to have this win. Y'all want to win, but we got to have it. So I just commend the UNC players that hey, they brought their A+ game, and Duke better to have that loss before the tournament because it's one and done in the big dance. And to have first aid, I don't know if you saw the game, but there were shots of you see these this group of 100 ex-Duke players, and a ton of them. You're going, man, how many did he send to the NBA? You know?
A whole bunch.
A whole bunch, and darn near the whole game. They were just, just like the varsity squad rooting them on, you know. So and they still lost, but hey, the sickle finger of sports. When it comes to it's at the end of the era for college basketball, it's more about its individual accomplishment. I lean more toward the individual accomplishment, and because he has won in different eras. College basketball when he started is not the same as it is today. So he's kind of moved along with the eras, and been able to win when, now players, the rules for players going to the NBA will change. A lot of changes. And through the eras, and he was successful. That's what has him stand out. So it wasn't like he created an era. He didn't create an era, and it was like, hey, you know what? We got to adapt the game because of what he's doing. No, the game moved on, and he excelled in whatever form the game took on, whatever the rule changes, whatever he worked with that. So I kind of lean more toward an individual accomplishment. Now, March Madness would not be the same without Coach K. 'Cause, just the look on his face. I mean, them classic looks. Who you gonna get to have those classic looks? Tell me who. No, but irreplaceable, First Lady. That's all I'm saying. And that's all I'm saying. Oh, and with Duke be in the Final Four, I think that they're gonna get taken down in the Elite Eight.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, we can't really predict with the Final Four. I'm just saying that they are a top 5 team right now, so you would think that they could get there. But again, like I said, it all depends on seeding. And Coach K, we're going to miss you, but you still got a lot of work to do this year. It's not over with. It's not over with. So it's always good to go out with a bang. So even though the team lost, maybe you can win your last college championship. All right, Spitface, over to you.
All right. And don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowering, over the competition I'm towering. Record shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest that'll all get sliced and diced. Competition, paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said knock you out. We are talking about the knockout punch to Russian athletes in sports because of Putin's war. The worst wounds are often the ones that are self-inflicted or retaliation for being an ass. Russian athletes are caught between the proverbial rock and a hard place. They get to see the real news that we are all watching, knowing their people are being fed fake news and lies. Many have stood up and said the war is wrong, but they know there is hell to pay from an evil man and his evil government if they make too much noise. A 15-year prison sentence for saying Russia is in a war with Ukraine. That could shut a lot of mouths. Russian athletes are paying a price for Putin's war. Should they be asked point blank where they stand? Leroy Satchel Paige, Walter Buck Leonard, and James Cool Papa Bell are asking what you say. First Lady, this is a situation. This is a situation because there are athletes from Russia, Russian, proud, who are playing professional sports all over the globe. Soccer, basketball, hot hockey, but, all over the globe, Russian athletes compete. And, we could look at it as it's not their fault that their people are being deceived by this evil man. That ain't their fault. And it can seem like it's unfair to be able to to ask them, well, how you feel about this? And it may be, but each generation has to take a stand for freedom and make that kind of choice. And you get to, it's just like the presidency. You get to circumstance, presidents come into office going, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. We're going to get this together this way and that way. And then as soon as they get out in office, things that had nothing to do with their plan occur. Hurricanes, world events, things happen. And that's what ends up shaping your legacy. So, a lot of the Russian athletes have benefited from the freedoms that we have outside the Russian system. Benefited. And that ain't their fault. That's a good thing. But with that, you get what comes along with it. Now, First Lady, somebody put a gun in my head and say, look, if your butt go up here and say something against me, 15 years in prison. And you know that, you know what? They will do that. They will go out there, they will do that to make an example. They don't care. 15 years in prison. Now, I can't ask anybody to be a Nelson Mandela. That's a little too much to ask, anybody. Will you be a Nelson Mandela? That's a little too much to ask someone. And but they do have to respond to the question, and whatever way that is, and allow the fans or whoever in the sports world to ride with what you say. But a lot of them have said, no, I ain't with this program. Now, they ain't said, like they know that you can be treading, going first, because they got family peeps in Russia, and we know Putin is not above sending one of his boys and slipping a little, radioactive material in your soup. He will play it that way. And First Lady, the young lady, the WNBA star, Brittany Griner. I mean, talk about, effed up situation, baby. One, your sexuality is not appreciated in Mother Russia, and then you're an American, and we just, baby, I hope you done said night. I want to speak with an American. Do not say nothing. That's First Lady, should Russian athletes be paying the price for Putin's war?
Well, since you brought up Brittany Griner, I mean, first of all, why are you going to do that in Russia? I mean, to be honest with you, right now, I don't even think the United States have a chance to even get you out of Russia. We're not on good terms with Vladimir Putin. So you put yourself at risk to be staying in Russia and to be possibility found guilty of these crimes. I mean, I don't know how that's going to really go because we don't have bargaining power right now. So that's something really serious for Brittany Griner. But you know what? Whether or not they get 15 years for talking about the war or not, many of the athletes have come out and spoken. The Russian tennis star, I might be butchering his name up, but Andrei Rublev. He, when he was playing in the doubles tennis match with Ukrainian Denis Molotov, he wrote on the camera, "No war, please." That was like a week ago, and so he spoke out. The hockey player Alex Ovechkin, very strong supporter of Putin. He came out and said, "I hope this war will be done soon, but the situation is out of his hands." So, these athletes, like you said, they're in a tough spot, tough position because they really don't support the war, but their hands are too tied to really come out vociferously against Putin. They may say some soft type of thing, but they're not directly saying, this war is not fair, da-da-da-da. It's just different tones and how they're expressing their self. But it's still significant that some of these athletes are speaking out. It's unclear what type of effect it's going to have on Putin. I mean, let's face it, the Russian oligarchs, they can't stop him, and these people are getting their yachts seized. Their money's really.
I saw, First Lady. I saw this one yacht. I thought that was a cruise ship. I'm like, wait, that's a yacht. I'm like, that ain't so and so's cruise ship. I'm like,
they right. So I mean, these oligarchs, they can't even get Putin to stop, and they really want to because this is starting to affect their bottom line. These are billionaires, but they got a lot invested with Putin because they're people who support him, yet it's starting to affect their bottom line, because all the sanctions that are getting ready to get are in place. Their hands are going to be tied getting their funds. And so that's going to impact all of Russia. And so, it's sad, because a lot of the people who are in Ukraine, they're friends of or family member. I mean, we're talking about Russians being in, even though they're Ukrainians now, they were Russians at one point in time. So, it's a sad situation. I mean, really, the whole situation with this war is, unfair to the Iranian people. And like you said, these athletes are always going to be asked about it. It's unfair for them. I mean, in their situation, they don't have the freedoms and the liberties that we have in the United States, where we can say anything we want to say. We can call our president names on top of names, but, we can say that and put it in public. But these people, they do that, they'll be behind jails and might be killed. Because we already know that Putin is good for poisoning people. So I would be afraid if I were one of them. But like I said, some of them still have voiced their opinions. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, one of the soccer players, he he wore something with black. He blacked something out. I can't remember what he did. But there's still a lot of people, athletes out there that really are against this war. And, so like I said, our hearts go out to the Ukrainian people. And like I said, we feel sorry for these athletes because they're between a rock and a hard place of what they can say and what they can do. So it's a sad situation. This war got to end. I mean, it's a useless war, and it's just not. It wasn't even provoked, and that's the sad part about it. But I'll tell you one thing: you got to give the Ukrainian people credit. They're really fighting back, and you know what? It tells the United States something also too. The Russian army is not that great. I mean, their Russian army is not as powerful as we thought it was. Because a small country like Ukraine and, their abilities, they don't have what we have. And I see that, they've been able to push back. I mean, he has to bring more forces in there. So that really tells you they thought they were going to be able to just go in there and wipe everybody out and take over that country. But the people of Ukraine are fighting back. So that's all I got to say, Spitface.
Yeah, First Lady, it's tragic and it's unfortunate, and it in some ways because this comparison is happening, and Ukraine is not Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
And that comparison is being made, and that comparison was made by Zelensky. Zelensky said, I am not, whoever the premier or president of Afghanistan that ran away, he specifically said, I am not him. I am not leaving my country. And, you sometimes you get benefits that you weren't looking for out of a bad situation. And I think that in some ways, because of how Ukrainians are fighting back, it's blunted some of the criticism that Joe Biden had for pulling the troops out of Afghanistan. If the troops have been pulled out and the Afghanistan military, which was trained and many say ready to fight, had really been fighting, it would have been a whole different story. But because this man betrayed his own country and his troops and ran, and I want to know where the money went, but that's a whole different situation. But the Ukrainian people, they said, well, look, we'll fight back. Now, the terrible part about that is that they're dealing with an evil man who will attack civilians. Because, as you said, First Lady, the military is made up of people who were forced to be there. Their military is made up of people get conscripted. Putin has this thing now where if you protest against the war in Russia, you're subject to being conscripted to go to the military. But First Lady, we got to end this discussion. They're giving us the signals. Please take us to break.
All right, and the prime minister that fled Afghanistan, his name is Ashraf Ghani. But anyway, stay tuned. Coming up next, we have a performance from Sonic Minds on Shout Out Part 1.
First Lady, did you say his name was Ass Be God?
No.
The music flows in from around the globe to get a shout out from the panel. First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Sonic Minds.
Okay. On Shout Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. Today we are featuring Sonic Minds out of Ludenscheid, Germany. They say Sonic Minds does exist in this constellation since 2002. All right, DJ, let's hear. That's Furher. I might be pronouncing that right.
Sure.
Sure.
Monsieur.
Sure. Bonjour. Sure.
You must not have watched enough World War II movies.
No. Bonjour.
The Fuhrer. But, all right, DJ, roll it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to shout it out. I mean, that's a typical type of European type song with the music. You know, I guess they call that, oh my gosh, it's not dance. Well, I guess they put it in the category of dance music, but it's not my type of music for me to dance to. But I mean, but people like to dance like that, you know, that fast, more electronic bass type of music. So, but I'm going to shout it out. Spitface, what do you think? You shouting out? You're going to hit the mute button.
I'm shouting it out. I thought it was, you know, a lively track. They had the music flowing, and you know, I kind of like my temperature a little different, but it was groovy in its own way. Kind of had a little house techno mix to it.
That's the word I was looking for, techno.
Yeah,
I said
had the little house
it was
techno
mix. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of took me back a little bit to the clubbing days, but you know, hey, it's cool.
No, but that's the new. I think I had said computerizes, techno music. That's what it is.
The techno, you know, the little techno dance
the name,
music.
Call it techno music, but
yeah.
Right.
Well, now they got it. I think they call this synth pop. You know, whatever.
Synthetic. Okay, synth pop. Okay. Well, on part 2 of Shadow, we'll have another performance from Sonic Minds, and well, we don't need this. This Flip It Mind is something else. Is that the sound of my favorite underwater friend? Is it time for Flip It? Flip It said he don't need no techno music to come out. Flip It not coming out?
All right. We had Flipper was still boogieing to the song. We had to corral his butt, get him back on it and into the. You know, when you got when you live in the ocean, you kind of a free spirit. Time for Flipper, where holds the field, the point, then flip the script, the defend the opposing view. Does the NFL Combine really matter when teams have tape on every player? Does balling out at the Combine equal NFL success? The NFL Combine allows teams to determine if there are any intangibles that could be important to their organization. The Combine has a lot of value. First off, there are players that, there are only so many slots available in the NFL. Each team has the exact same number of positions, and that's a limited number. So between rookies coming in, veterans leaving, that's where, things have to be filled. And some of those veterans leaving, that wasn't by choice. They wanted to stick around. But the teams had other decisions. So there are vacancies to be filled. Now, when you got a pool of talented people who, let's just say, the differences can be pretty minute, and you got a limited number of slots, you want every chance you can to really be able to evaluate and see if they're fit for your organization. And that's what the they run, and who's the fastest running back in this combine? Are they breaking records? All of that. Well, other things happen. Like he was faster than we thought he was. Yeah, we got tape of him and times and all of that, but we didn't know he had that spurt in him. That could be just the subtle difference where somebody ends up being on special teams and not even in the NFL. So it's great for the players, and it allows the teams to really pick. And some things are, football teams are like this. Is there a chemistry? If I add this element to the pot, is it gonna make it better, or is it gonna end up demonstrating weaknesses, flatten the brew? The NFL Combine is still has a lot of value. First Lady, defend.
Well, NFL clubs, they pay for the combines, through scouting service, and so they're paying for it. The first combines that were held in 1982 in Tampa, Florida, and at that time they served as a more efficient way for teams to gather and share physical and medical information on their prospects. Obviously the combines have grown since then, but they're still doing the same thing. They're still gathering raw data on teams, on players' physical appearances and their psychological, because they still do that Wonderlic test. So NFL teams, and they're about crunching numbers these days, because we talk about analytics. Basically, it's used with analytics. If it's a predictive power to be able to predict what these numbers will translate into actually playing football. That's what this is all about. So it's taking the raw data, combining it with the analytics. They have all their algorithms that they go through. You don't have somebody there with a pencil and paper, and that's how they calculate. They got computers to do all this calculation. So it's still a good way to compare athletes' talents against other athletes. That's where the value comes at. Like you said, you can see somebody running up against another player, and the raw data could be used. Like you said, Spitface, there's only so many slots on a team, and you are able to make decisions based off of these numbers, and because that's what it's come to. It's all about analytics. Every sport discusses analytics, and that's what this combines is used for. It's a predictive measurement to help them make decisions about who they want on their team. And you can talk. We'll flip this, but the combines is not going anywhere. It's going to be here, and there still has some value to it. Whether somebody's hand is big or not. Let's face it. That was the big talk about Kenny Pickens. His hands were not big enough, and he didn't even want to get his hands measure at another event where they measure the hands. I think it was, I don't know if it was the Senior Bowl. I can't remember exactly where it was. He refused to get his hands measured, but now they're saying at the combines he had to get his hands measured. Now we know why. He got small hands. But anyway, we can talk about that another time. So anyway, I think it's still of value. It's definitely of value, Spitface.
All right, okay. Now, this is flipping, so we flip the script and defend the opposing view between game tape of the player playing and the NFL background checks. They have all they need to select a player. The NFL Combine is a money-making opportunity for the NFL that includes free advertising of their product. The NFL Combine, I dare say that 99% of the information that they collect at the Combine, they already have. They already have. And the biggest factor, whether you ran the fastest at the Combine or your hands were small, whatever the deal is, how did you play in the game? How did you play in real games? Because there are plenty. If you look at that tape of Tom Brady, you did not see. There's no analytics in the world that would have said GOAT. None of them would have said, "Oh, he gonna be the GOAT." No analytics in the world would have said that. If you look at that little pudgy guy, that's it. So teams have enough tape. They've done enough scouting where if there's something that's in the combine that kind of, well, you know what, that gave this one person an edge, maybe. But that is so rare. They know what they need, and that is what things break down to. What do we need as a team? And if this person is a smidgen better than the other person in some intangible category, perchance that makes a difference, but probably not. And they still do one-on-one interviews. So even with the kind, they're going to have a one-on-one interview for anybody they consider drafting. You know, it's just going. So what it is the NFL is getting away again, making something that more than what it really is. You know, they made it so now the combine is a show. And the NFL goes, whoopee, we love a show because we get to promote the NFL and we get to have advertisers pay us to promote our own product. So everything that they need, they have before the combine even hits. First Lady, the fan.
We know last year the combine was canceled because of COVID protocol. And this year, it was a lot of the players were going to boycott the event because of the COVID protocol, because they wanted to implement these stringent protocols. So a lot of the players said, "Oh no, well, we're not coming." So they had to scrap everything. So, you know, every year, like, you know, people wonder, does hand size matter? It's just about everything else. Yeah, hell yeah. Hand size definitely does matter, but, you know, this being, I guess it depends on who the hand size matters to.
Russell Wilson's height should have mattered.
Yeah, that's true. So there's always, and there's, you know, you hear the same old stories, the traditional stories about the combines, because what's happening, so many of these players, they practice for the combines. So it kind of excuse the statistics because they're practicing for the combines. You know, there's always a story about Mike Mamula. How you pronounce his name? Mamula. Mike Mamula. You know, he was picked number 7, but he never. I think the team that picked him, I want to say it was Eagles. They picked him, and to go up to pick him at number 7 because he had such a fantastic combine, but he really never had a great, outstanding type of career. And, you know, so you have those type of stories. But, you know, recently, I think it was last week, the New York Times came out with releasing a story that the event has now become such a spectative type of event where, like you said, the advertisers get involved. You know, they let NFL fans come to it. So like you said, it's a way that the NFL makes money. You know, give Roger Goodell credit. It's a money-making machine, to be honest with you. It's about making money and, you know, to increase their viewership. It's a whole bunch of things. You know, they have entertainment because, you know, it's a kickoff for the beginning of the NFL season again, you know, before they get to the draft, just like how the draft used to be. look what they've done with the draft. Look how spectacular. It's a spectacle. They have made the draft. The draft was a boring thing, but now they made it a major event, and that's what they're doing with the combines. It's a major event for the NFL. So, I mean, do you blame them?
No.
NFL is king. Say what you want, but NFL is king. When all the players were kneeling, all these people said they ain't going to watch no more NFL games. Well, guess what? They've been coming back watching the NFL games because of situations like that. It's, people want content, and that's the type of society that we live in now. Things are being developed to be on the internet. I mean, if you're not there, you can see it. They live stream it, and it's just an event. It's a spectacle, and I mean, whether it has value or not, but it's making money for the NFL. Spitface.
Hey, it's making money for the NFL. Well, on that note, First Lady, please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Up next, the funnies and our favorite underwater friend on Flip It Part 2.
Money, 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 money.
Welcome back. You are still listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. It's time for the funnies. Spitface, over to you.
First Lady. Okay, all right. I'm looking at what they handed out from the news desk, and I'm like, wait just a minute now. I had to rub my eyes. Okay. Box of human heads stolen from Denver truck. March 5th. This was yesterday. And now this is the United Press Internet. This is not fake news, real news. A thief who broke into a freight truck in Denver this week made out with some macabre cargo, a box of human heads. According to a release from the Denver Police Department, the truck was parked in East Denver when someone broke in sometime between 2:30 p.m. on Wednesday, March 2nd, and 9:30 a.m. on Thursday, March 3rd. The unknown suspect stole a dolly in a box labeled exempt human specimen. The box was full of human heads meant to be used for medical research. The box also bore a science care label. Science Care is a program for donating bodies to science for research and education purposes. At this point, no arrests have been made, and investigators are working to gather more information and recover the stolen human remains. Should someone find a box containing human heads, discarded or abandoned, authorities are asking that they immediately call the Denver Police Department at 720-913-2000. If anyone has additional information, they're encouraged to call the Metro Denver Crime Stoppers. Get that money. 720-913-STOP. Tips can be submitted anonymously and get that money. Guys, the water splashing everywhere. It's definitely not a box of human heads. It must be time for our favorite underwater friend. It's time for Flip It.
My goodness, when I think of human head, I think of the movie Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. When he delivered the wife's head in the box, you remember?
Oh, that was so sad.
Anyway, I digress. Let's move on. All right, Duke has Coach K, and Georgetown has Patrick Ewing. I can't. What's his? How do you say that? Aloysius. That's his middle name. Patrick Aloysius Ewing. I never knew. Look, I'm a Knicks fan. I never knew that was his middle name. My goodness gracious, we call him by his middle name, Patrick Aloysius Ewing. Coach Patrick is a legendary player for the Hoyas. He is on the path to be a legendary coach for the wrong reasons. Given Ewing's dismal record, excuse me, I can't read today. Given Ewing's dismal record, should the Hoyas cut bait? Panel defend. 5 seasons, 68 and 81. Cut bait. Throw this baby out with the bath water. Spit face defend.
Patrick Ewing, great. Hall of Famer, great player, great college player, and it just did not translate for the brother. It did. I don't know if it was a matter of maybe he should have went to a different college than Georgetown, because different kind of pressures. But or if he should have just stuck in the NBA, because he wasn't getting the head coaching, but he was from what we can tell, seemed that he was a good assistant coach and was working well with others. So like sometimes you make a move and it's just not the one. And when you look at over 5 years, you've accomplished a losing record. Sometimes at times you have to go, look, you the man, you're always, but we gotta let you go, baby. Gotta go. And I dare say that this is one of the rare cases where, as opposed to a white coach, and I'm gonna say it like that, a white coach being kept in the family with a terrible record, and it's like, is it because he's white? That this might be a case of Patrick's a star, he's black, we ain't gonna kick him to the Kirby. Now I know that they've already stated he ain't going nowhere. They should have threw him out with the bathwater. That's what I'm saying, First Lady.
Poor Patrick Ewing. I mean, he was hired in 2017 to really turn Georgetown's record into, something good. I mean, to be honest with you, Georgetown is always been a stellar program when John Thompson was there, and unfortunately, John Thompson is rolling in his grave. I hate to say it. I hate to say this. But Patrick Ewing, what has he done? I mean, the team, he's 5 seasons, 68 and 81. That ain't really great. And I know, you thought you were bringing star power when you hired Patrick Ewing. You thought you would be able to recruit better for Patrick Ewing. Now, I always wonder why Patrick Ewing never got a head coaching job in the NBA. It makes me wonder now. Maybe he's just not a good head coach. It takes some type of special personality. Patrick Ewing was always aloof, and maybe that's some of the reason that doesn't translate into being a great coach. Not to say coaches have to be likable, but you got to talk to the players, not above the players. Patrick Ewing his personality, I think, just does not translate to being a winner when it comes to leading men to win. He was as a Knicks fan, was he a leader on the Knicks team? I know he would bark at players. I guess he could be a leader. I know he and John Stark used to go head on a lot of times. But like I said, he just, when it came in the locker room, it was a different situation with Patrick Ewing. And I just don't understand why it's not translating for him to be a great coach at Georgetown. And, It's, 17? That's 5 years? Like you said, had it been another coach, we always want to try to get black coaches some time, and Patrick Ewing being the star that he is, he needs to get some help. I don't know who he's hiring as his assistant coaches, but I don't know how he's, what he's saying when he recruits. First of all, Patrick Ewing was never a great motivator speaker type of personality anyway. And I think that has a lot to do with recruiting people to Georgetown, bringing people to the Lonzo Mourning, the Allen Iverson type of Georgetown, when they were always up against Michael Jordan when he was a player at Georgetown. We talking about Georgetown was a great program, and it just hasn't been that way for the last 5 years, and so I don't know. It is time to cut that bait, man. That baby got to go. Got to go out. All right, well, this is Flip It, so we're going to defend the opposing point of view. Coach Patrick inherited a program whose recruiting was slipping. He needs talent, not the boot. Look for the Hoyas to rebound. Spit-face defend.
Sometimes when your back is against the wall and you see the line and it's either win or go home, that's when you rise to the occasion. And I think the thing for Patrick Ewing is that as far as a talkative leader, I've never heard that. But as far as lead by example, I would say a lot of players, you have a lot of respect for Ewing. One, because if it was some other kind of way, you would have heard about it. So I think Ewing was more of a let my play and practice and my work ethic speak for me. So when I do say something, now when you playing in a league with professional players, that can work real well. That can work real well because, hey, I see what you do, and I see what you got, and I want that. So people try to emulate and get that. But working with these young players, that might be hard to translate. But I think that what has happened is that Georgetown has underused his star power. And it can seem like it's diminished because, hey, the team is losing, it hasn't done well under him. And I think that a lot of that is that it's not that he needs to be out personally recruiting each person, but the Georgetown program, hey, this is a guy who's a Hall of Famer. He has peoples in the NBA, and you could be part of a program that brings the glory back. And because it can be the difference between 2-3 players that can have them back into the big dance. But they got to do it this season. And I think the university's vote of confidence shows that they're going to, hey, look, we're going to go all in this year and give you what you need. And watch out for them Hoyas to rebound.
Okay, so you think it's the program that got to get what Patrick needs, but I mean, let's face it. Prior to Patrick Ewing coming there, John Thompson III was there. Now, John Thompson III has a great winning percentage. He's won his 65% of his games with Georgetown. But the last 2 seasons prior to him leaving, or I think, was he fired? I can't remember exactly, or he just left. But anyway, prior to his season, the 2 seasons prior to Patrick Ewing being hired, was not great. They were a very mediocre team. So, so they really thought with Ewing coming in that, he would bring that star power. So it's about their recruiting and how can they recruit more players to Georgetown. And like you say, Spitface, is it about they're not spending the money on recruitment? I mean, when you recruit, you got to go out in the field. You got to go people's homes. You know, you got to sit and talk to people. So that's some of the things that takes money. So their recruiting is slipping. So maybe he needs to build up that recruitment team, and they need to try to recruit people from within their area too. The high schools within the area. You try to get the best high schools within your area, and like you said, Spitface, maybe that involves having some of the former pro athletes coming to Georgetown. When they do these recruitment trips and everything, maybe you want somebody like a Lonzo Mourning coming with you to talk to these players. No. Or even Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson still got a cult following, even though he's not been in the game. AI is still very popular among the young players today. So, like you say, use some of your resources to get talent to Georgetown, because that's what's lacking. I mean, if you don't have a good team, I don't care if Coach K was coaching that team. They're not going to be good. They just won't be good. So they got to beef up their recruiting, and beefing up their recruiting is reaching out to the former NBA players and have them come and help you to recruit more talent to Georgetown. All right, Spitface, please take us to break.
All right. On the other side of the break, we have another performance from Sonic Minds on Shout Out Part 2. Please keep your ears on those speakers and stay tuned.
You are listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. It's time for Shout Out Part 2, the picks, and the finale. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout-out from the crew. Spitface, over to you.
All right. We have another performance from Sonic Minds. DJ, let's hear The Truth.
And all I want is the truth about the lie. is the truth about the lie?
All right. That was the truth. All he wants is the truth about the lie. First Lady.
Well, I'm going to shout it out. Like I said, I mean, it's not my type of music, but I think it's for that type of music, I don't see anything wrong with it, is what I'm saying. I think it fits their audience quite well. So I'm going to shout it out.
It's kind of interesting. They had one track, the Furor, and I got to look up the exact definition of Furor, but because my only recollection was when they used it in World War II movies in reference to Hitler.
Right, exactly.
Right, and with this track, The Truth. Like not, they out of Germany, don't know, really a lot about them. But in some ways, and I might be off base, but I kind of get the feeling that they speak in the times. They speak in the, because, we said earlier, there's a lot of us don't appreciate that because we like what someone is reporting does not mean that that's real news. Because we hear some reporting that agrees with our concepts and opinions, that's right. The real news versus the facts. And that if and I just flat out go, your facts are a lie. Come on. So, but we ain't gonna go that way. I'm giving it a shout out, First Lady. This is the end. A shout out if you like what you heard from Sonic Minds. Check them out on Old Grumpy Radio Network and sonic-minds.de, like David Edward. And I know you may be going, what about the .com? They ain't in a .com. They're over in Germany. Get the .de. If you'd like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails to tracks@oldgrumpyradio.com. Yeah, they are. They're over in Germany, there in Lincolnshire. And First Lady, over to you.
They forget the .com. All right. Who will win the hardwood crown? All right. Let's go over last week's picks. And, woo, I like to say that I know a lot about basketball, but I didn't know too much last week. So, anyway, Dizzy Mack was leading with 12 million points. Spitface, you were in second with minus 4 million points, and I came in last with minus 8 million points. I didn't know what I was picking last week. Well, let me just put it there. There's several upsets, so that's what happened last week.
Oh, man, those Sunday games,
Those Sunday games, they were some upsets. So let's get to this week's picks. All right. I don't think I have Dizzy Mack's pick, but we'll get them later on. All right. Nets versus Celtics. Well, you know what? Kevin Durant is back. His first game back, he scored like 30-something points, but it wasn't enough because the Miami Heat beat the Nets. And they're playing in Boston Garden, not the old Garden, but anyway, bank, I forgot the name of their new building, but I'm going to go with the Celtics because the Celtics the Celtics have been winning. I mean, they're a sleeper team to be in the to come out the East because you go Ime Ugotu. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I apologize. I butchered your name, and I do apologize. But he has them playing. Ime has them playing real well, playing team basketball like what he's learned as the assistant coach for Popovich all them years. He has translated those skills over to the Celtics. So a lot of people felt the Celtics team too selfish to play against each other, to play with each other. Tatum and Brown, they couldn't win because they did not make their teammates better. Well, guess what? Ime has got them making their teammates better. So I'm going to go with the Celtics. That was a long soliloquy just to say that. But anyway, spit face, who are you choosing?
I'm not sold on the Nets. I'm going with the Celtics.
You're not sold on... Well, Ben Simmons has to play, you know. KD by himself, I'm not saying KD can't do it by himself, but he's still coming off an injury. So even though, you know, he played well, but I think that was just, you know how you were so hyped you had to get out there? I think that's what that was all about. All right. So we got the Suns versus the Bucks. Suns versus the Bucks. Spitface, who do you have?
I'm going with the Greek Freak.
I'm going with the Bucks. Woo. Well, my Knicks almost beat the Suns like every other team. They had a lead going into the fourth quarter, and then they got blown out in the last 6 minutes of the game. Oh, this is a tough one. The Bucks are... I'll go with the Bucks also. I'll go with the Bucks. All right, Pacers versus the Wizards. Who really cared? But anyway, I'm going to go with the... I'm going to go with the Pacers. Spitface?
I'm going with the Pacers.
Okay. Grizzlies versus the Rockets. Really? Really, Spitface? Who you going to go with?
In the battle for a high draft pick, I'm going to go with the Rockets at home.
Okay. Really? So you think the Rockets are going to win? And
wait just a minute. I'm looking at I'm going to go with the Grizzlies.
Look, I didn't even put. I was how you get. I mean, they're another team worse than the Knicks when it comes to losing streak is the Rockets, because the Knicks have lost 6 in a row. I think the Rockets have lost 9 in a row, something like that. So I'm definitely going with the Grizzlies. Okay, you know it could be an upset though. You never know. All right,
ain't no
Jazz versus Thunder. Jazz versus Thunder. Well, I'm going to go with the Jazz because, you know, there's only like 18, 19 games left in the season, so these teams got to start getting serious about winning. So the Jazz, I'm going to go with the Jazz, even though the Jazz were blown out. Ooh, who beat the Jazz? It was horrible. Was it Grizz? I can't remember who beat the Jazz, but it was horrible. It was a bad loss for them. All right, I'm going with the Jazz. Spitface, who are you going with?
I'm rolling with the saxophone.
The Jazz, okay. Raptors versus Cavs. This is a good game. Spitface, who do you have?
Cavs at home.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Cavs also because they've been losing a couple of games, but they're injured, so they had some players injured now. All right, Pelicans versus Nuggets. Man, let me tell you something. That's going to be a good game because the hottest team right now, besides the Grizzlies, is the New Orleans Pelicans. I mean, talking about what one player can do to a team, adding C.J. McCollum to the Pelicans has made the Pelicans a force all of a sudden. I mean, they're beating good teams. So I'm going to go with the Pelicans.
I'm going to ride with the Nuggets at home.
Okay, you go with the Nuggets at home. Oh, boy, my Knicks and the Clippers. Knicks versus the Clippers. Spitface, who you going with?
I'm rolling with the Knicks.
You think the Knicks are going to finally win a game?
I'm rolling with the Knicks. They do.
Let me see. Well, the Clippers have been playing well, but I think the Knicks, I do agree, I think this is a winnable game for the Knicks, even though the Clippers are playing well. But I'm going to go with the Knicks. Hopefully Julius Randle won't act like a head case and get thrown out the game. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. All right, so we got a whole bunch of, I meant to tell everybody that each one of those points were worth $2 million for the win and minus $2 million for the loss. And now we're coming to our over and under. And I'm telling you, our production staff, they put together a list of over and under. I thought it would never end. All right. Let's go to these over and unders for Sunday's games. So it's $4 million with the win, minus $4 million without the win. So this is only for Sunday's game, not Sunday through Sunday. Yeah,
correct.
Only for Sunday's game. Oh, right, because we got points. All right, Suns versus Bucks. Over under 212 points scored. I'm going to say over. Definitely over.
I'm going to go with the over.
Yeah, that's definitely over. I mean, 212, that's like the East scoring like 106 points. Nope. I'm not sure if Devin Booker will be back. He's been out on COVID protocol. So let's go to the next game. Nets versus Celtics, over under 210 points scored. Spit face?
I'm going to go with under.
I'm going with over. Grizzlies versus Rockets, over and under 205 points scored. Oh, Lord, let's see. Well, this is going to be a blowout game, number one. So, Ja Morant may not even play the fourth quarter because the game will be decided before the end of the third quarter. But you know what? I'm still going to go over. Those are kind of low scores. I'm going over. Spit face?
Under.
All right. Knicks versus the Clippers. Over under 205 points scored. All right, spit face. Over under.
Under.
You going with under? I'm going with over. These are some low. Okay, over and under by Sunday morning. $2 million for the correct answer, minus $2 million for the incorrect answer. 76ers with 2 wins. Spit face?
I'm going to say that they're going to be over.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know who they're playing, but I'm going to go with over. Bucks with 2 wins. Over, under. I'll go with over. Spit face?
Over.
Okay. Warriors over under 2 wins. Spit face?
I'm going to go with the over.
I don't know. The Warriors have been actually horrible lately. I don't know what's going on with the Warriors. They have been, to be honest with you, I am going to say under. I don't think they're going to get two wins. They lost to the Lakers. How do you lose to the Los Angeles Lakers, who could barely win a game? I don't know. So I'm going to say under. So you said over. Okay. Suns over under 2 games.
I'm going with the under.
You're going with the under. I'm going with the over. I don't know who they're playing, but I'm going to go with the over. The Nets over under 2 games. I'll go with the over. No, under, because I don't. They play tonight, right? They played the. Who they play tonight? The Bucks.
Yep.
No, I'm gonna go with under because I'm gonna go with unders. Okay. So I'm going with under. Spit face. You said what? The Nets.
Under.
Under. Okay. The Knicks over under 1 game. I am going to go with over because the Knicks schedule, I think I know what their schedule looks like, but I'm going to say over. What are you going to say, spit face?
I'm going to go with the under.
Hey, I mean, it can get worse. Trust me, it can get worse for the Knicks. But their next couple of games, they played the Clippers, they played the Kings, and I think I forgot else who they played, but they play, I think, the Rockets, to be honest with you. But they have a hard time against athletic teams. Okay, so I have over, you have under. The Hawks, over under one game. Spitface?
I'm going to go with the over.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the over for the Hawks, too. I don't know. The Miami Heat. Now, the Miami Heat, they have Spitface. You got Miami Heat over under one game? All they got to do is win 2 games? What do you have?
They got, it's tough. I'm going to go with the under.
Really? Yeah, they actually, I'm looking at their schedule. They have Phoenix, Cleveland, Minnesota. I'm going to go with over. You said the under. I'm going to go with the over. I think they can win all of those games. Celtics, over and under 2 wins. I'm going with over. Spitface.
Under.
Rockets, over under 1 win. So that means they got to win 2. Spitface, what are you doing? You over under? Yeah, I don't see them winning 2 games. I don't see them winning 2. Okay. Special bet. And you got to only select one. Your maximum bet could be $4 million by Sunday morning. Nets better record than the Raptors. LeBron James, over under 1 triple-double. James Harden, over under 2 triple-doubles. Grizzly, better records than the Warriors. Yes, no. I'm going to start with you, Spitface, first.
I'm going to pass on the option.
You're passing on the option. Yeah, I didn't do well with my option. Let me see. Nets better record than the Raptors. You know what? I'm going to take that one. I'm going to say the Nets better record than the Raptors, and I'm going to say no. And I'll bet $4 million. So that's what I'm going to take. And Spitface, you said you're passing. And I'll see what Dizzy Mac. Got to get Dizzy Mac to commit to only one. I'll see what he says. All right, so we'll see how we do next week. We got a lot of points here to win or lose. All right, Spitface, what's your top story to watch this week?
Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. He's going to make a decision Tuesday on what's going to be the future.
Oh, so did he announce that?
Yes, he did.
He's such a diva. He get on my damn nerves. I mean, he's a diva.
Hanging out with them wide receivers to do that too.
I mean, he's a diva. You know, he could have announced that a long time ago, have everybody waiting for his last word to see what he's going to do. Anyway, what is my top story to watch this week? Well, I guess my top story is Brittany Grimes, to see whether or not she's going to be able to get out of Russia, to be honest with you. Like I already talked about that a little bit earlier, I'm really scared for Brittany Grimes because it's a bad situation. You know how these countries, they're not like the United States of America. Your freedom and your liberties are definitely tested in these other countries, and I'm sorry, I don't know what she was thinking. But anyway, we'll see if she can escape Russia. All right, for women, you know, it's National Women's History Month for the month of March, and the person that I would like to, what's the word? The person I'd like to salute to is an American boxer by the name of Claressa Shields. Her name is Claressa Shields. And she's an American professional boxer and a mixed martial artist. She has held multiple world championships in 3 weight classes, including the undisputed female light middleweight title since March 2021. The undisputed female middleweight title from 2019 to 2020, and the unified WBC and IBF female super middleweight titles from 2017 to 2018. Shields currently holds the record for becoming a 2 to 3 weight world championship in the fewest professional fights. And as of November 2020, she is ranked as the world's best active female light middleweight by the Ring and Box Rec. And she's actually one of the most active female boxers, and she's the best boxer pound for pound. And so Shields is also the only boxer in history, now listen to this, the only boxer in history, female or male, to hold all 4 major world titles in boxing simultaneously. WBA, WBC, IBF, and the WBO. And not only simultaneously, but in 2 weight classes. She's definitely a history maker. So she's our first person we will be honoring for women's history this month. Join us and our partners, the Veterans Women's Enterprise Center, as we honor our veteran women entrepreneurs. Please visit honorourveteranwomen.com, honorourveteranwomen.com. Please check out our current and previous episodes at BrasPantiesandSports.com and our Facebook page, BP and Sports. That's BrasPantiesandSports.com and BP and Sports. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk and Spitface. You have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. See you next week.